Back again with another build vlog. I actually I haven't even taken off my boots, and I've been home for quite some time, so I'm gonna do that real quick first. I've been grinding out a little bit of Gambit. Well, I mean, really not Gambit, actual Destiny. Today I finally killed the meatball. I've only seen the meatball twice in order to get Malfeasance, and well, 3 times actually. And the first 2 times we were far behind in the actual match itself, so we weren't able to catch up and beat it. But today we did actually win one where we were dominating. The other team only had 12 motes banked by the time we had gotten the actual boss to spawn, so we were able to catch on up and win. So right now I'm looking to join in a little bit, but to play more Destiny, but I wanted to show the progress that we have for the board set. So I actually came through and I drew over the chance question mark to get a more standardized size off of that, and I have it now sitting here as well. Short line, I'm thinking that I'm going to make the actual emblem just a little bit bigger. This one seems a little small. And then I have the kind of the directions up here. So the train station, train tracks, the even. If you are, let's say we're coming around the board, this is go and it goes this way. So you come up there and you're going and you come around and you come this way and then you get over here. When you roll the dice, if you are moving an even number of spaces, you actually go up and into this board up top. If you're moving an odd amount of spaces, you actually pass right through it. And that's what dictates which direction you go on the board. This isn't a you get to choose. This is actually up to the dice to decide how you move and where you move. On the actual game board that the guy has, it says reverse direction, and it's like a permanent reverse direction unless you land on it again, and I don't want that. I just want a 1-turn reverse direction, because it would get really confusing if you're coming in from here. You have an even number, you go up, and whenever you go up to continue on, you land here, and then next turn you're all of a sudden going this way, and then you kind of have to memorize that you're going that way. So yeah, that's just too much work. So I'll do it as a 1-turn coming back this way, and that'll kind of help up with the confusion of that just a little bit. Other than that, the main progress has really been burning both of the standard size board and the small board. This is the small board, this is the standard size board, and then this is the ultimate size board, or the mega board. I don't know what I'm going to call this one. Big board probably. So as you can see, this morning when I posted, we had the big board all done and dusted, other than the edges, which again I talked about with the 45. We'll be using this later on down the line to get the 45-degree angle that we want to draw those pictures. And then I did the prep work for the standard size board with all the actual names and the texts, and then Potato actually came back through while I was kind of coming in and finishing up some of the other texts on the inside here and drawing some of the pictures. She came through and she actually sat down and burnt all of these. So literally the small board and the normal size board, all of those are burned by her. All of the actual names, I was the one who did all the drawing that you see, all the stencil work. I did that earlier today, like I said. And then the goal now would be to finish up all of the normal sized spaces, like coming back through and putting the lines on the chance. You can see where I burnt through to set up where the actual like curves were. Fix this because this is too small. And yeah, that'll be tomorrow, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I actually have Thursday, Friday morning off as well, so I should be able to do a little bit more work then. This is something else that came from work, and this is my plan for money. Since this is a custom board, we're actually going to use poker chips. Poker chips have really cool benefits as opposed to normal Monopoly money. So, first and foremost, they are yay thick, which is, if we put it here, pretty thick, which is great. And the reason that it matters that it's so thick is because they don't bend. Like, I'm pushing down with my hand and it doesn't want to bend, which is great because, you know, paper, you can kind of fold it over and crinkle it and all that. I don't want to do it to this paper because this is my good drawing paper that I'm using for all the drawings, but Monopoly money has a really bad problem where you can crinkle it and get it all messy, dirty, things like that. These are slightly different because these are plastic hard. They tend not to do that. They, again, come in a variety of colors. So you have black one here. For the actual set, I'm going to have to spend a lot of money. This actually came from work. We used it for one project and really didn't need them after that. So I'm going to need a lot of colors. I think there's 3 more colors that I need to have all the normal amounts that Monopoly has. And then these are going into a custom built case that will be underneath all of this. So basically this is the tabletop. It comes in 2 sets, obviously. I'm going to stand up in the chair. And if you would imagine, there's going to be a hinge on this side so that the 2 boards fold into one another to protect the actual table, the game surface itself. Obviously there'll be polyurethane on top of it, but when they fold into each other, it'll help prevent like scratches during transportation and stuff like that. Underneath both sides is going to be basically a frame set up so that it works just like a box would, and those will house everything that you need in order to play. So your instruction manual, all the poker chips that you need, all the houses, hotels, skyscrapers, which I just found out were a thing. I have to do more research into how those actually work for the gameplay. The rule set, if I didn't say that already, all the title deeds and things like that, all of that will be actually underneath the board in a well-protected box, so everything should fit away nice and neat on the inside and be there whenever you actually sit down to play it. I'm still looking for, I have the money solution right here. These are great for that. I like that. I can set up like a nice felt area inside of the board and just have rows of them so that whenever you go to play, you can just pull those out and set them down for the banker. Token pieces, like the actual playable characters, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to use yet. I'm thinking about making my own, but at the same time, is it really Monopoly if I make my own? I might have to go look on like eBay or something and see if I can find actual like, excuse me, like sets or something where people are selling extras or whatnot. And then for the homes and hotels and skyscrapers, yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I want to use that system yet, or if I want to use the rent system that fast banking or the electronic banking system uses, which is like a whole nother discussion. So generally speaking, in Monopoly, let's say we'll take the 3 yellows, because those are over here on this side of the board and everyone knows them. You got yellow, yellow, yellow here. If you have all 3 of these, usually the rules state that you can start building houses, but you have to build 1 house, 1 house, 1 house. Then you can do 2, 2, 2. Then you can do 3, 3, 3. Then you can do 4, 4, 4. After your 4th one, you build hotel, 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 right? And that's usually how you get to the maximum amount of rent that you have to pay in a normal Monopoly game. Of course, that requires that you have all 3 of them. If another player swipes them up, they might not be so willing to give them to you, things like that. The way that the electronic banking Monopoly works is I land on this property, I buy it, the rent level is 1. Someone else lands on the property, they pay me rent level 1, and then the rent level bumps up to 2 at the end of that turn. And then it keeps going, and then there's cards in the deck that actually affect whether it goes up or down, which would work really, really great. But at the same time, it kind of limits the freedom that you have of building. I know that there's a majority rule of property. So if you have the 3 yellows, you have complete rule. And then there's another rule in Monopoly where it's majority rule. So you only need 2 of the 3. You need 1 less than the full set in order to build stuff, which, I don't know, that'll be more stuff that I look at later on down the line. I still have to figure out a couple other quirks of the actual board itself. So, of course, these are the 3 yellows right here. These are the 3 greens right here. And these are the 2 blues right here. But I don't actually want to add any color to the top of the board. I want the birch to shine through with the burns. So I got to figure out how to differentiate these from one another, because I made the board, so I know that these 3 are a set. But if you weren't me, would you know that these 3 are a set? Probably not. So, like I said, there's a couple things that I got to figure out on how I want to do it. Do I want to put number 1, number 1, number 1, number 2, number 2, number 2, so you know which set's which, or do I want to do it some way else? I don't entirely know just yet. So I'm actually over the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to pause it here. This is the 3rd day of actual build. This is what we have so far. It's coming together quite nicely. You can almost play if you had all the pieces that you needed, and yeah, I'm going to call it there.